One on a Sunday morning. It is March the 30th. Rise and shine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Wesh 2, first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. And you can see in the bottom left corner, we are tracking wet weather. A storm system is moving our direction. And so, because of that, we are calling today impact weather, essentially from lunchtime through about dinner time, anticipate the potential for some stronger storms to be moving into central Florida. Okay, when we break down things kind of threat by threat, the tornado threat risk is not really significant. The hail risk is not significant, but the winds upstairs gave us just enough instability that we need to be watching for this. So that's why the Storm Prediction Center, a government agency that does these sorts of things with us, has gone ahead and highlighted much of our area as a level 1 out of 5 risk for isolated strong to severe storms. That does not mean that it's going to be a significant severe deal, but there is an isolated threat to see a stronger cell. Now, you've come to the right place. That's the good news. We're going to go over all the data here together to kind of give you an idea of what that severity will be. But first, let's just start things off with our live Doppler radar, get an idea of what's going on right now, okay? In the metro, we're quiet. Out west of town, though, let's take a look around Marion, Sumter County, watching some of these storms. Heavier ribbon of rain, as a matter of fact. If you live in Dunellen, for example, watching a decent batch of very heavy rainfall there. And Doppler radar showing winds in there. Let's just we'll ping that. We'll ping that. Yeah, 30 or so miles an hour. So a decent gust of wind. There's our live radar sweeping on through, coming up into Dunellen. So how fast is it moving and when does it arrive? Because, of course, half of what we do in the weather world is just making sure you know what to expect and when to expect it. I'd say that's more than half. That's pretty much the whole kit and caboodle. So it's moving at about 15-ish, 20-ish miles an hour, depending on how you look at it. So we're going to draw it running at about 16 miles an hour, and that'll give us the plus or minus, okay? And it's running at about 20 to 30 degrees on the compass rose, all right? So we'll do that, and the heavy stuff, moving up toward Ocala, all right? So Dunellen, 8:18, the storms move in. Rock Springs, 8:45. Fellowship at 9:27, and Ocala at 9:41. The very heavy rainfall moves in. From there, let's widen the radar back out, get an idea. There's more stuff out here in the Gulf of Mexico, and the Gulf. Excuse me, Freudian slip just came out of habit. I don't want. It's not called that. I know. I didn't mean to say that. All right, let's widen the perspective out though and look at the Gulf, and we see there's a bunch of moisture out there just kind of starting to get churned up. But look here into the panhandle. You see how all of that's starting to fire up? That's really where our activity comes from through the course of the day today. So let's do this. Let's take a look at our Futurecast model. All right. And we're going to take it hour by hour, kind of get an idea of how the day shapes up. We're going to start with our standard Futurecast here, showing some of the rains around this morning. All right. 10, 11 o'clock, heavier stuff, even some potential of some stronger stuff up that way. Okay. So definitely something to be watching for. Certainly we're going to be watching for it. Right. Then through time, watch 2, 3, 4 o'clock bubbling up that activity. And we see the reds. Look, if you look closer, there's even some shades of purple in there. Yeah, this is where we're getting into the stronger storm threat. This is the time frame where we could be dealing with the severity. And that, my friends, is why we went with the 1 out of 5 risk for strong to severe storms. And then everything kind of just starts to gradually taper off through sunset. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at. So in terms of the forecast, let's just look at it from kind of a bird's eye view, right? This morning, mostly cloudy skies, 20% coverage of showers. Notice though, lunchtime into the afternoon, 30, 40, 50, 60% coverage. There's going to be some showers and there's going to be some thunder showers with us, okay? So we're absolutely going to be watching the activity through the course of the day today. Carbon Fiber's asking, could we see severe weather on Monday as well? That marginal was pushed south this morning. Yeah. So there's a lot of different pieces to this. So one step at a time. Yes. One step at a time. All right. That's today. Now, again, looking ahead. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Hold on. Where are you? There we are. All right. Here we are looking ahead to tomorrow's severe threat. And yes, our northern areas are also now under a level 1 out of 5 risk for strong to severe storms. We'll get to that. But since carbon fiber mentions it, but I've got to tell you, that is a significant chunk of real estate under a level 3 risk. I don't, I don't even know where I would look to see like geographical limits, extremes, things like that. But I couldn't tell you the last time that we saw a level 3 risk that large. That's tomorrow's severe threat. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But if you have plans today, this is my bigger concern, right? If you have plans today, for example, heading out to the theme parks, all right, there's going to be a considerable cloudiness, and then into the afternoon, there's going to be showers and thunder showers around. So, this is going to absolutely be my focus today, dealing with our threat for strong to severe storms. You're asking about the beaches today, Tamara's asking. So I've got you covered. Remember, it's going to storm. In addition to the whole it's going to storm thing, rip current risk is high. So I wouldn't say that it's like the best day to go, if I'm honest. Okay? So there's that. Beverly says, I reckon Jeremy's going to be busy. I would suspect the exact same thing. Yeah, I would suspect the exact same thing. So, yeah, it's going to storm today. If you want to go to the beach, there's your live radar. The Atlantic coast is quiet for now. I'll lapse it, and you can see, there's pretty good thunderstorm off the coastline of Daytona Beach. And to that point, let's tap in. We haven't even looked at our have we? I don't think we've looked at our Towercam network yet. So let's tap into our Towercam network and just kind of check and see what's doing. There's Daytona Beach, bottom left, tourist district, top left, downtown Orlando, top right, and the Kennedy Space Center. That's Launch Complex 39A there on the bottom right. That is the mission going tomorrow. It will send astronauts for the first time ever over the poles. That'll be super cool. That one looks like it's got a pretty good forecast. There is a Starlink mission scheduled for today, which to that point, I can't promise you. Since we're talking about it, I guess I could bring it full screen. I can't promise you that today's Starlink mission is going to go with the weather the way that it is. Yeah, there's the live look at the Kennedy Space Center. So, if it does, that will be super cool. I've got a friend in town from Chicago. He's a main anchor up there. He's here with his family. They're going out of Port Canaveral somewhere. But he's like, hey, there's a Starlink mission on Sunday. May try to check that out. And I'm like, if you can, if the weather can thread that needle, then absolutely that would be good. But yeah, like I said, there's a thunderstorm off the coast of Daytona Beach. Let's take a look at this. Is our new Smyrna Beach tower? Oh no, that is Daytona Beach. All right, so Daytona Beach. Not really pointed in that direction. It's a beautiful sunrise, though, right? Yeah. And then, of course, looking out on New Smyrna Beach, just because you kind of see the disturbed weather out that direction. Karen, no, it's not Tom Skilling. No, it's not Tom Skilling. Carbon Fiber says that the GFS, Carbon Fiber on YouTube says that the GFS spun up a tropical system in the Gulf during a model run this past Friday. I saw that. We're not to hurricane season yet. Right now, we're still just kind of watching these storm systems that come on in. Right? Now, let's talk about rainfall. How much rain are we looking at with this? Okay. So we know we've got this big storm system moving in, right? Okay. Heavy showers and thunder showers. American GFS model and European model. What are they saying? Hold on. This is Fakakta setup. Oh, God, it's Fakakta setup. Hold on a second. I've got to do it manually because we did. All right. Well, we can start with our Futurecast model. That's easier. All right. Let's go back to just even today. All right. So this is actually great news. Our Futurecast model is saying that there will be some decent rain. Look at that. The yellows and the oranges, that's 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain falling. The deep greens, That's 1 to 2 inches. The further west you live, the lower the rain chances are going to be. So, for example, somebody's asking about the Sun and Fun forecast. Oh, Andy's asking about the Sun and Fun forecast. To be honest, it doesn't look as bad in Polk County. It's worse out east. So, I'm not saying that I would be walking around Sun and Fun today. My plan is to go out there next Sunday. So, if any of y'all are going next Sunday, all right. All right. So, just boiling it down to coverage of rain. Who sees what? All right, where's our rain coverage? There you go. There's our coverage of rain. Makes sense? I think our Futurecast model kind of backs that up, right? Just in looking at like rainfall accumulation. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I'm just back. I'm just doing today. We're starting with today. We'll get to tomorrow. We'll go downrange from there, of course, but we're starting with today. So the Ghosted Woman says on YouTube, 2 to 3 inches of rain here. Hey, I said this yesterday, and I still firmly believe it. If we have to have rain on a weekend day, and we're in as significant of a drought as we are, let's do the thing. I mean, if it's already going to be a forecast, then let's do it, right? We need the rain. Elida says, light rain, Marion North. Yes, we've been popping in. We'll pop back over to our first warning live Doppler radar. Yeah, so you've got light rain now, right? Kind of see it moving up there to Citra and Anthony. But there's some nice heavy stuff. And to that point, I really probably should change. Right now, our radar's kind of in long range, low power mode. The velocity looks like garbage. We do this when it's just rain. But given that there's a severe threat, will you all allow me, just for a moment, will you allow me to make a couple of setting tweaks to the radar? Give me a second. All right, loading up the radar. All right, I'm just going to do that. Okay, all right, I just made a quick tweak to the radar. Should improve velocity. Basically just setting it up for... Yeah, that velocity should get a little bit better. That's a little higher power. Just because if there's the potential of a pop-up nastier cell, kind of see it improved. See how it improved it just a little bit? I probably should peg it up even a little bit more. But just to, just to make sure we're good. But see, it opened up this, so I need to see how when you make radar tweaks, it does things. Like you see how that rain in Brooksville all of a sudden got emptied out, so I need to... Bear with me. Apologies. Do that, do that. Was fine, that's fine. That should fix it. All right, let's see. This should fix it. Hold on. Yeah. All right, we almost fixed it. See how I filled it almost back in. So I need to do one more click. This is the part of having a radar, my friends, that you don't see, but it happens in the background. All right, one more radar sweep through just to make sure that it fills it back in around Brooksville. All right. We need a good soak. Bring it on, Jessica says. Agreed. All right, come on, radar. Sweep through. All right, we're almost there. We're sweeping around. Jan says, two things we can count on. Eric will give us a great forecast, and at some point he'll use a Yiddish phrase. Yeah. That's me. That's me. Matt's asking about South Florida. We can look down there in a couple minutes. Understand, though, that I'm not, I don't... Hold on. Let's just wait. I mean, to quote the A team, I love it when a plan comes together. All right, perfect. And our velocity is looking better. If I need to pop it up more, I will. I don't think for now that I need to. Comparing, that's us. That's Tampa. We're a little hot. Did it tweak hotter? No, it's just a little hot. All right, Tampa and us. All right, let me bring that down a notch. Bear with me. Every time you touch the radar, you have to like give the tubes a chance to like recalibrate themselves. So, all right. Sorry, friends. Give it a second. I just wanted to see. It's good. It should bring the intensity of the rain down a little bit. It's not that the rain intensity is lower. I'm just recalibrating us to the Tampa radar. Yeah, I think that looks better. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. All right. So anyway, long story long, you can see the rains, the heavy rains. Yeah. The radar appears to be jammed. Yeah, radar's jammed. Oh no, what are we going to do? All right, so for South Florida, let's do this. I'll pull up our Futurecast model and I'll just widen it out to the Florida view and give you an idea. That's about all I've got just because I'm not forecasting for South Florida anymore. But notice, I mean, popcorn showers, yeah, across South Florida, but by far and away the intensity is in Central Florida. That's where the intensity for today will be, right? Now, looking ahead to tomorrow morning is looking nice, but look at that wave of energy coming in, 5 p.m. You see that? And we'll be popcorning up some storms out east of town tomorrow. But the question is going to be as that storm complex moves in, how intense is it? You see that up to the north though? Yeah, that's going to be nasty. So for them, not necessarily for us. So let's just take a moment and let's just look at our 7-day forecast, okay? Here we are. And frankly, yes, we've got some storms in the forecast today. 70% coverage. Just remember we need this rainfall, okay? So let's take what we can get. Seriously. The weather wizard. Hey, we're doing the best we can. I pity the fool. That's right. That's right. I pity the fool who doesn't tweak the radar. Mr. T. He's still with us, right? Mr. T's still with us. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Born 1952. Okay, okay. Just making sure. Just making sure. Just making sure. Michelle, what's the weather for next Saturday? For now, it looks good. So let's step back. So we've got the storms in the forecast for today. Check. Then we've got a couple of showers, particularly east of town tomorrow. Shouldn't have a significant threat. Maybe our northern areas get something feisty if that line moves a little quicker. Check. Then this week, upper 80s. You see it, right? Friday, first 90-degree day of 2025. Check. Then next Saturday, staying hot, 90 degrees. Yeah. Yep. All right. Katie's asking thoughts on a 4 o'clock flight out of MCO today. By 4 o'clock, storms are going to be popping up. So I would fully suspect, I'm just going to be honest with you, I would fully suspect flights to be starting to delay. I mean, as it is, there are some delays. Not a lot, but there are some delays. Hi, sweet Stella. Hi, sweet Stella. So, yeah, I would suspect there to be some delays later. Hi, sweet baby. Deanna says, I had two separate dreams about tornadoes last night, and I wake up to a chance to severe storms. I would only advertise that today's threat for severe storms doesn't really include tornado threats. Okay? Paola's asking, are we done with cold fronts for the year? There's always the one. There's always the one that's like, just hangs out in the back of the classroom. And then when everybody's done, is like, I'd like to contribute something. There's always that one. So I'm not going to say we're done. But when you look at the 7-day forecast, right, we're almost done. Okay. 90s on the map Friday, Saturday. Now, one thing that's super hip that we started doing, coastal 7-day forecasts. If you haven't seen it, then I apologize, but we're going to get it right to you. So that's our inland 7-day forecast. Okay. 82, 80s. It shows the warmth, right? Let's talk about our coastal communities on the exclusive coastal 7-day forecast because your weather is so drastically different, right? Um, High threat of rip currents for today. We know that to be the case. All right. No 90s on the map, but our coastal spots do climb into the upper 80s for Friday and Saturday. I mean, we'll keep some lingering showers along our coastal zones for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. Okay. So that's our coastal 7-day forecast. Of course, most folks live inland, so we're going to continue to show the inland one probably a little bit more, but it's neat that we have a coastal 7-day forecast with different numbers, different rain opportunities. It's very much refined for our friends that live along the coast. All right. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to pause before we go diving into any atmospherics. I'd like to look at a balloon sounding. But while I'm looking that up, questions that you all may have while I'm looking up this morning's soundings, just to check out our atmosphere. While I'm checking it, y'all can. Joanne says Cam and Marquise aren't doing the coastal. Thank you for showing it. I'm not the chief. I'm not the news director. I'm just going to do my thing. All right, let's see. I pulled up AccuWeather.com. I give all. All right. Oh, in order to do that, the ponding will be yellow today. Yeah, right. Like anything that's ponding. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Studio scene, windshield, add 3D model. All right. This is going to be the sounding data from this morning at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. All right. Let's look at the sounding together. All right. So it's, in just looking at this, it's not a significant severe weather deal, right? Let's just come in here. Pretty saturated air mass. The curiosity would be now there's definitely some shifting winds, not a significant jet streak above us, so that's good. I mean, Cape's pretty good. When we look at the different data points, Cape, you see where it says parcel and then surface, and you got Cape, LCL, and all these other things. So essentially, that's Cape. Think of Cape as like the ability to lift for severe weather, right? It's potential energy is the best way to think about it. Okay. So being that Cape's in the 2000 range, you've got a decent, that's the one thing. That's the one thing that we're really watching. So yeah, because there's energy for this, right? And as a matter of fact, Futurecast will show the European has a Cape product. Give it a second. Let it load. Carbon fiber says Cape is basically storm fuel. Exactly. Let's let it load. There we go. So you can see where into this afternoon, this is the European model, right? But into this afternoon, we've got an increase in storm fuel, we'll say. Hold on. I'm just looking at the different Futurecast parameters. I'm trying to look for something specific. This is the joy when you're on Coffee Talk because you're not prepared. I'm doing all of this on the fly with y'all. So right, here we are. All right, so rotation. Let's talk about that a little bit. So you kind of see there's a little bit of an opportunity in here, right? I'm curious if so this is 3 p.m. today. So what I'd like to do, switch around. Let me switch. So you can see Futurecast is showing an increase in rotation this afternoon. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to look at the Her model. Give me a second. I'm going to put the Her model in over here. The Her model is the high resolution rapid refresh model. Do that. Do KMCO. We'll just start there. But essentially, what this will allow me to do is this will allow me to interrogate the Her model and look for severe parameters and things like that. Okay. So that's what's kind of nice about it. All right. So you've got your live radar in the bottom left corner. What we're going to be looking at together is going to be the Her model. And I'm just going to zoom it in. All right. So this looks like initialization. This is going to be, what is this? This is valid 12Z. So it is 12Z right now. So this is about where we're at right now. Okay, nothing significant. I wanted to look into this afternoon. As the temperatures climb, let's look and see, right? So 79 over 67, so we're warming up. Okay, that's going to be 16Z. All right, that's 17Z, 82. Getting into, you can start to see, all right, it's not a home run or anything, but you can start to see the atmosphere turning things around a little bit, getting hot. And as that heat starts to radiate up into the atmosphere, we also have a turning of the wind. Notice on that right side, surface is going to be kind of like south-southeast. Let me make sure that I explain this properly. All right, so this is a weather balloon sounding, but it's based off of a computer model. On the very, very right-hand side of that box, you kind of see these lines. Essentially, the bottom, that's the surface of the Earth. The data going up is as we go higher in the atmosphere. So southeast wind, and then kind of turning to more of a southwest, and then more of a west wind as it goes up with height. So these are the things that we look at for severe parameters. That's, what is that, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, that's 4 p.m. Marginal. It's not a home run, which we're technically under a marginal risk. So that would make sense. 85. Yeah, there's not a significant wind streak above us, but there is a turn of the winds. I wouldn't be surprised if and that's as far as this run of the Her goes. Wind and isolated tornado would be my thought. That's MCO. Let me look over to like Melbourne. Great. You have frozen up. Cool beans. There we go. All right, we'll do this. Do KMLB. There we go. All right. I want you to load Melbourne. And let's do. We're looking at this. We're looking at it together. We're looking at it together. Jeannie Rowan, does it take in curvature? This doesn't need to take in curvature because think about it. It's just going straight up. It has nothing to do, it's wiggling around up. And the wiggling around of it is actually the hodograph. Kind of, this is looking from space straight down to give you an idea of what the winds would do with it. But it doesn't need to take into effect curvature because it's not Earth-based. Once it leaves the surface, it is no longer Earth-based. It is strictly parcel-based. Stella be freaking out. Stella, you okay? So at 3 p.m. in Brevard County, there's definitely a turn to the wind. Enough that I could see a tornado threat having to come up a little bit. Not significant, but just enough. And then the air parcel is completely saturated at that point. Yeah. All right, so that's Melbourne. Let's go from there. I just want to check on our other coastal spots. Let's go to Daytona Beach. Let's head up to the north. There's Daytona Beach. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking, right? Like now we're getting into a little more of a tornadic threat, a little more wind around Daytona Beach upstairs. So you've got that shear from the southeast at the surface to more of a southwest upstairs. That's not a home run tornado threat, but there is, to me, not a none tornado threat. And I'm not just saying that to be hypey. I mean, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, right? It's not a there's not a huge cap to burst through or anything like that, and the parcel is super saturated at that point. Yeah, so it's a low end tornado threat, but I would say it's not a none tornado threat, and frankly, that backs up what Futurecast is showing, where there's an opportunity for just enough of a bit of wind shear along our eastern spots. So again, not to be hypey in any way, shape, or form, but it's not a none threat. Okay. So by definition, I think the damaging wind gust threat is the highest, but I would say that um, tornadoes would be, a secondary concern. Doesn't look like hail is going to be a huge worry. Doesn't look like it. Okay, but these are the things that we watch. Anna says, I just received notification from Wesh, as did I. I got my push notification. Does that show for Palm Coast, or is that kind of ballpark figure? Yeah, you have to understand it's all ballparking. It really is. Yeah. Let's see. That was, yeah, but I'm just checking. If we look at the significant tornado parameter, I would imagine it would be this the STP would be pretty low. STP stands for significant tornado threat or significant tornado perimeter. Yeah. All right. Good. Not a big one, right? Isolated in nature. I think that's the overall idea. I'm just checking. I'm not trying to throw all this stuff out there. Just checking these things, okay? All right. That's fine. Perfect. All right. So, isolated severe threat. A low threat for tornadoes. All right. Tom's asking, did you already show Futurecast? I did, but I'll do it again. It's a day where we've got the nasty storms. Before I show Futurecast again, let's just get an idea on where we're at. Could the threat escalate to a slight risk? It doesn't look like it's significant enough. All right, I forget who had said that there was some light rain in Marion County. It's going to be raining heavier. Here's our live radar, and you can kind of see where I had to make some tweaks to it. It kind of pops. I just want to compare it to Tampa. Every time I put eyes on my radar, I always want to make sure that it's in line with the National Weather Service radars nearby. All right. All right. We've got some decent little winds coming in here around Denellen. Nothing severe, but some decent winds. You know what? I'm going to probably raise that power a little bit. All right. While we're here looking. All right. So, Futurecast for the day, and then we'll revisit the radar again. Oh, that's rainfall. Stand by. All right. All right. Well, this has gusts too. I mean, we don't need that. In a strong storm, you could get gusts. Oh, geez. T Knox on YouTube and on a Sunday of all days, T Knox. All right, Futurecast for today. Showing the rains out west of town. I think doing a great job, by the way. Intensifying through lunchtime, which kind of makes sense, kind of what we're seeing on our live radars of right now. So that That dog hunts. 1, 2 o'clock, storms firing up along the sea breezes. That should pop it up, right? Then moving into the metro, 3, 3:30, 4 o'clock, very heavy rainfall. Downpouring, right? All right, then through 5, 6 o'clock, storms moving back over to Brevard, off to the shoreline. And then 6, 7, 8 o'clock, we'll have some lingering rains, but it doesn't look to be too rough. Okay? So that's kind of where we're at right now. All right, that's kind of what we're thinking for now. Let me pop back up the live radar so I can make those tweaks. Check on the tweaks I did make. Tampa and us. See, we may be a little low. All right, you see how though the range was folding. See that green dot? I knew that that was range folding, so I just needed to make a tweak. So I made my little tweak, and look at that, it's perfect. Though you notice every time I make a tweak to the radar, did you notice that the radar's range now has to start coming in? Yeah, with every tweak I make to the radar, the range starts coming in. So I think let me just check. It's Tampa and us. I think we're a little underdone, so let me tweak. And all right, perfect. These are the things, it's so funny that they don't teach you, and they teach you like radar theory, but they don't teach you. So anyway, that should get lined back up. So that's the Tampa radar there. This is us here. Let's wait for the sweep. We'll wait for the sweep. Where is the sweep? There it is. Okay. Perfect. Yep. I just needed to bring it up just 1 decibel level. This is the stuff you don't realize that we have to do. Look at Tampa. Us. Perfect. That's what we needed. All right. So, all of this work, and did you know that you can look at our live radar on your computer or on your app? Let me show you. Wesh.com. I'll pull it up together. No, the bosses are not making me do this. All right, let me shrink the Wesh website down a little bit. No, the bosses are not making me do this, but I spent a lot of time and effort to get this done, so you better believe I'm going to show it off. All right, Wesh.com, click on the little hamburger thing, and then you get that menu on the left side, right? Scroll to radar, and then you get the radar. You think that that's our live radar, but it's not. You know how you can tell? Because our live radar does not scan the entire country. So how can you ensure that what you're looking at is the Wesh Live Radar? This is a national low-resolution composite. It's a good product for most people, but y'all are not most people. Y'all are hanging out listening to a dude on a Sunday morning talk about the weather. So you're what we would call a super user. So bottom right corner, you see where it says layers? Click the layers button. Then at the very top, if you look, it has radar selected. No. You need to click First Warning Live Doppler Radar. Boom. Now you could change opacity, do all that stuff, but First Warning Live Doppler Radar. That's what you want to click. Why? Because that's where you get our live radar. And you can literally see all of the tweaks that I just did. You'll see them in the loop. As it's going through, you'll see pulsing. But you see how much higher resolution that is? That is the raw data off my radar. You know how you can tell? I'll show you. This is how you can tell. Because if you come over to the live radar, you can see things like that interference spike that's down to the south. And you can just tell that it's a much more granular looking. It's not as softened, we'll say. Okay? So that's how you do it. Please make sure to do that. Of course, for TV, we smoothen it, but if you wanted to see like the raw data, I'll show you. There's the raw data. Does that look familiar? That's the raw data off our Wesh radar. Does that look familiar? Does that look just like what you get on the website? Yeah. Those are called gates. When you compare our gates to the National Weather Service gates, they're much smaller. The radar resolution on our radar is ridiculous. Here's Tampa. You can see the difference in gates. That's the Tampa radar's raw returns. There's our radar's raw returns. So you get the idea. All right. Enough nerding out. Let me just compare again over here. Yep, that looks good. That looks good. Velocity. See, this storm's pulsing up. I'll punch it up a little bit more. Fine. Done. You're making me work this morning. Because that's not rotation. That's and it'll clean it. It should clean it right up here. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Go from 5-4, go to 4-3. That should be good. All right. So anyway, you can see though, I've again with that last tweak, you see how the range came in. See how I've had to start bringing the radar range in, but as I do so, the radar's quality gets better and better and better. So these are things you never needed to know, but here we go. All right, a lot of red and Denellen, hang on, kids. Well, you know, we're just got some rain moving in. Don, I will always take the Dolly Parton angle of things and just try not to make people angry. That's all. Literally, that's my entire goal. All right, I just want to see. I just made a couple of other tweaks that should really help this out. Yeah. Sweet. All right. Very good. Yeah. All right. Velocity data should look great now. Reflectivity should look great. Tampa, us, perfect. All right. Perfect. I think we're in a good spot. Will you consider adding some garden water in Coffee Talk? What? Garden water? I have no idea what you're talking about. Garden water? Is it? I don't even know. All right, so Dunellen got some nasty rains moving in. Dolly's the best. We should all be like Dolly. That's it. That's all. So Dunellen, some good heavy rain moving in. But you can see, I mean, you can see there's some brighter shades on our wind velocity products, right? Not severe, but 30 miles an hour. Good, some good heavy rain and gusty winds. That's all. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything at all? Pop up the 7-day forecast. Loading. There we go. All right. Garden. I know. Blue Goose. YouTube. Some winter garden weather. I feel like we talk about the entire area. You know? Vanessa on Facebook says, super user. I love it. I watch you and Tony over and over. Reruns too. Well, thank you. Hey, we're all just trying to navigate life together. And if I can teach you a little bit of weather and you can teach me a little bit about life, we're good. The Ghosted Women, Linux. The live radar runs Linux. Yeah, the actual tool chest for the radar runs Linux. So yeah. All right. All right. Garden weather. Yeah, I'm like garden water. What in the? All right. Enough's enough. I'm going to go do my thing. I'll be posting if need be through the day. All right. All right. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I'll see y'all later today if need be. If not, tomorrow.